That's true. And on top of that, of course, Blade Mail, its last nerf was like 1 second off it, so it doesn't last as long.
Yeah, and TFT recognized that. They're going to ban out the PA. Wouldn't be surprised to see. And, no, maybe you're right. Maybe we just keep it simple. We talk about the mag jug. Team Liquid did in the second game of their last series. They had kind of fifth pick back to the Miracle Anti-Mage with the Magnus, so they ran AM Mag, and AM is a hero that I'm really curious to slide because it makes it a cap hero.
It was already starting for the pack. I know over for Team Empire. I love running the hero with a double Aquila build, just early aggression constant, and now with Wraith Bands being so prevalent,
right,
you can actually get up into people's faces and ruin the day.
Yeah, another hero that we should talk about is the Monkey. I still like the Monkey King.
5 seconds
yeah, it's not too bad. There's a lot of heroes that assume with that lockdown they'll be fine, but of course you can just sustain because of the Jingu. That can work,
exactly. Yes. You get as long as the Jingu is up, he pops Blade Mail. Okay.
Yeah, well, there means, and also it should be highlighted that we have got that. There's the Monkey King.
They'll take it away. That's very smart. That's smart.
They have to.
It risks being countered now though, because you still have a lot of ranged agi heroes on the table for Liquid, and that low base armor of the Monkey makes him super vulnerable.
It's tougher to counter later in the game though. Now with the change to Troll Warlord, he used to be a really good counter to this because of course you get up the bash, he can't do anything, he can't get his Jingu, he can't stun. But now all you do is throw a pretty low net on people. So things have kind of changed in that matchup. It's actually no longer heavily weighed towards the Troll Warlord in late game. Poor Troll.
Poor Troll. I mean, I know. You badly want to make Troll support work.
I mean, it's still kind of, that's a different discussion, Alan. We can do like a 5-hour podcast of why that support works.
Yeah.
But focus on this game, like you said, there are options for them. They could look towards a ranged hero, like you said. It would mean the Magnus wouldn't get full value, but at the same time, it's not a bad choice. Or get one that gets both.
This is the. I thought they were going to pick this third and not fourth, but once the PA was banned, I definitely phase and Monkey King changes that calculus. Not at all. Especially you see building Dragonlance. Obviously, more and more people. Was shocking to me at first, but more and more people are going that attack range talent, level 25 on the Terrorblade, and with that talent, you can be firing into the Wukong and against the Monkey.
Yeah, with the sudden changes, it's not too surprising either. It should also be highlighted.
That's true.
That with the Terrorblade, people are going, okay, well, you're just talking about Magnus and how he doesn't get the best value unless it's a melee hero. The thing about Terrorblade is, he's going to farm fast in Metamorphosis. Well, Magnus makes sure that his rate is still just as high when he's in melee mode,
and it's a very good point. Unlike in one of the games that you saw the Final Tribe have a little bit of trouble with their Terrorblade, you have the natural farm accelerator, Magnus.
Exactly. Meanwhile, you look at TFT, and so far, your Axe going to farm well. Cole can be left to shove a lane. The Monkey King is going to have to be active. I mean, anticipating this is likely their mid. But they have final pick. You can run the Monkey King in the outer lanes, but I think from what I've seen recently, you just want him that mid lane so that he can just gradually rotate and get more aggressive. Because once you get Jingu, you want to flip it into another kill. You don't want to stop at one.
Super interesting that it's the final that are the ones that ban them, because Pugna would be thought of in a lot of contexts as a, but they're the ones that take it off the table, and I wonder if they're sort of thinking back to, they could always pivot into some kind of, I mean, Terrorblade Anti-Mage, right? It sounds like the most idiotic thing. But when you're talking about these, they're both able to, build 3 or 4 Wraith Bands. I don't know. I would have said Monkey King Anti-Mage was absolutely nuts, but Liquid just ran that.
I mean, that one's a little bit different in that I think Monkey King can do a very different role from Mage, whereas Anti-Mage TB more similar, right?
I agree, but what I'm saying is, you mark my words, you're gonna see a lot of teams at the major. Maybe not by then because we'll have settled down a little bit, but you're gonna see a lot of teams at the major caught off by double super hard carries, because super hard carries are so much better with the stat items being. That
kind of fits it.
To me, yeah, that is much more what you were saying about the Monkey King. The reason that he functions so differently is because, you know, even before he gets those big items online, he has those spells that can function well in mid-game skirmishes. Gyro is sort of the classic hero, and he benefits so much from the early BKB patch.
Sadly, we will not see the anti-mage alongside the Monkey King. It's the Arc instead.
I don't think that's the pick. That is, I really... First of all, I hate that hero, period. But I really, really hate that hero in this patch. I think it's way...
Yeah, other than the exploits that I was talking to you about last night, like you can actually get the permanent stat gains such as Lion and Slot.
Which I have to believe are going to get patched out, right?
That's got to be wrong, right? Like, but at the same time, it's the way it's coded.
The Finger of Death buff for killing.
But like, even when you look beyond that, it's the way this hero functions. I think Lizard has always said it really well, is this hero is kind of designed in a way that he drags out the game a lot longer. And while you can win games, it's usually not off the back of the, like, directly of the actions of just what the Arc does. And the moment things start to go badly, it's just this giant ball of gold being lobbed at your opponents.
That's right. So what you need, the idea behind the Arc Warden pick here is not a bad one. Liquid does not have a hard save. Okay, so neither one of these heroes, neither the Terrorblade nor the Gyrocopter are necessarily going to want to get into that bubble alongside the Arc Warden when there's the possibility of counter initiation from the Axe, the Monkey King coming in with the ult, and all the sustain coming out from the Dazzle, which is going to be run in a support role this time. So it's not a bad idea, but I feel like this is an example of a lineup coming out here from Liquid. This lineup plays at a much faster tempo in 720 than it would have in 719, any other version. And I think that's what the Arc Warden pick really misses out on here. It misses out on the fact that this Liquid team is actually much faster than you.
Yeah, it's the item choices, especially as well. When you think of Arc Warden, where he goes hasn't really changed. He's going to want to get a Midas at a good time. He's going to want these Necronomicons, these type of items, and then maybe Maelstrom as well. It's all about farming. And as we've seen from practically every game so far, if you're the one farming, it's usually like you just trying to dodge your opponents and recover, because they're probably deathballing you at that stage.
Yeah, and again, it's, you know, the X factor in this is always, especially in the last two patches in Dota, has always been the laning stage. And you're gonna end up saying this as an analyst in a lot of drafts, and you're gonna end up looking bad in retrospect when, for example, in the Medusa game, Medusa just won her lane so hard against that Fata Morana, had such a good early game, and was off to this huge net worth lead. Their lineup didn't look greedy. But I think something similar needs to happen to this arc. It needs to have just a ridiculous.
Doesn't need. They have station 3 heroes top on side Liquid.
Might be in a little trouble here.
Kuroki's taking a lot of damage, but he'll be fine.
You're a Bane.
Meanwhile, look at this Courier. I mean, this is just poor usage of the Courier, guys. You should keep this back in base, not use it to scout. Which we should actually talk about that change, because it is a huge change for Monkey King now. Mischief giving you that invulnerability window. It means you can actually dodge RPs.
That is one of those that seriously with this patch makes me question is Icefarg AF. There is no other hero in the game that has an active 0.3 second invulnerability spell that requires no skill point investment. Like, that's ridiculous. Even the fact that you always change into a courier now when you're nearby a courier is actually a huge buff to Mischief, because the courier has much faster move. It has higher than your base move speed. It has much faster move speed.
You waste less time.
Any of the other units.
Yeah, you waste less time at the start, for example. Yep. And I think the big thing, actually, we've kind of been so focused on this Monking. One thing we probably should have highlighted is the fact that this is a Magnus support.
Sure. Liquid. You're right. I didn't talk about that nearly as much. Liquid has played around with it fast.
Yeah, we don't see it too often. Usually it's off lane or mid, but GH Magnus can work pretty well, especially with a Bane. This hero hits so hard already. Well, along with the Brain Sap, you can force anyone out of that lane.
I'm a little bit surprised that they did it here. I mean, I think that, no, it's a good read. It's a good read, because Mind Control is just going to need so much less help down in this bottom lane, playing as the same would have as the Magnus. And they don't even necessarily need to swap the lanes. They probably will at some point.
Yeah,
well, Mind Control can do okay.
It's true. You've always got the Sandstorm, and we've seen what happened when TFT had the Sand King and how many centuries they commit to keeping themselves safe. Could see something similar.
The big question is going to be, like, does he have to let the Monkey that caustic starts.
I feel like part of the plan also with giving the Empower role to the support here is to try and pressure Axe a little bit. And actually, they're going to pressure Dazzle instead. What's he doing in Hanskin?
Nice.
Questions will be asked. Beautiful body blocks come out from GH. And now they'll just Jansen fan as well.
And again, when you talk about the typical core position player being played in the 4 role, what's the best thing that can happen at this point? Giving that hero first blood, getting him off to that strong farming start.
Can make all the difference. The other thing also about this Empower Magnus support is he can go and he can actually just try and farm a little bit in the jungle. It helps if your lane starts to flip back to you is the point. Like, you want to be on the lane, but if things start to go bad, you can always kind of pivot back towards that after a few levels.
Yeah, still a little bit of a concern here. GH has kind of abandoned the bottom lane here. You're going to give up a lot. Chessie here, remember that denies now give gold for carry players, so that's going to let Chessie get to his next item that much faster.
Axe?
Oh boy, Matu. Hey?
He's playing way too close to the tower, and Matu just steps in, slaps on the nose, says no.
I'm sorry, guys. He's not. I should have seen that. He's not supposed to die in that lane.
He really isn't. It's basically for an Axe. We said the Empower might be a little bit annoying, but it's this kind of slow whittling down. It doesn't just kill you like that.
It's not an Axe. It's an Axe Dazzle. Like I don't care if you're against your heroes. You're not. I mean, okay, the Dazzle is still level 1. He's gonna get his level 0 off the next creep kill, but you're not supposed to die. Now he's feels like he's got to dip off into this jungle here.
Definitely. We haven't talked about the mid lane just yet. There's already a little bit of a lead build for Miracle, and I think the thing to highlight here that makes his terribly favored is usually Spark Wraith will someone down even when they got this much armor, but he's got illusions that will just tank all of that every time. A mind control. Oh god, he's gone. They slap down a sentry and they punish him for trying to do what an Axe would do. I don't blame him though.
Yeah, there's a big difference there, and that's kind of supposed to happen. You're trying to play the lane this probably like par is at least.
Looks like I'm gonna play around with Hansen fan a little bit. Skewer him back and still on the cliff, big boy.
Oh, all right.
He's TP's back to base actually.
Yeah, he's ready for that. It's sort of cute. It does cost him a little bit in lane.
Yeah, he's gonna miss out more. And well, Axe is this hero. We don't usually talk about his weakness because we don't see it much at the moment. He's usually this hero that gets a lot in lane. The problem with Axe is great stats to begin with, bad stat gain. This hero doesn't do well from behind.
Yeah, and I'm starting to get concerned, is what we talked about with mind control, sort of trying to tread water in this bottom lane is not happening. He's level 3. He's probably gonna be 2 levels down on the Monkey King, who's halfway to 5.
But look at the difference here.
And the 2 liquid supports are just sort of, they're kind of hanging out in this area of the map, thinking about a play on mid, maybe hoping for a courier snipe. That's just not gonna happen.
No, they decide against.
They're not using their time well.
I think it was once they saw Dazzle, they were actually going to go because Mind Control, he was coming in from the other side. But the moment they saw Dazzle, they realized there's no potential chance there because if you force that fight, Error TP's in. That's a huge bulk of damage that can come out from Illuminate, even on level 1.
Burns go here.
Looks like it will be 2 apiece. Not too bad.
This Monkey King's gonna be big.
The Monkey King is the big concern. The Axe seems to be neutered somewhat. What's your answer? Monkey King though, I don't feel like anyone can really come down here right now to deal with this. He's getting too much XP and he does too much damage already.
Well,
and mind control.
You're kind of you're left in the situation as you often are with these 3-4 cleaners. You got to get both of them online. Stuns canceled. He's gonna die again.
Yep. He went for the TP, but
he's gonna die to Chessie. Oh.
Yeah, that's problematic. And because Chessie got the Jingu, look what he does. He goes straight back to lane just in case Freaky hangs around.
And he's not going to miss any of that wave. He's like, look, if they're allowing me a free lane, I am going to absolutely maximize. Very smart.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the map.
Liquid now, I talked about the tempo concerns with their lineup. Like, this Liquid lineup is now going to be very, very slow, at least until 15 minutes.
I mean, that's the thing I want to talk about is like, when's your pass back? Because you're going to be waiting a while for this gyro, right? This isn't an IO empowered gyro. It's an empowered gyro in a different form, but you're going to have to start stacking maybe to allow him to just accelerate, but I don't see a single stack happening.
Yeah, and look at, they're going to try and get the gyro back into it with a kill on the Monkey King bottom. This is a decent move.
They can get him low. Can they finish it off? Shockwave skewer in. They'll find him. But Matuma Man in response, the poison touch might take him out here. He'll go down. Eliminate won't get a chance to finish him off. But Kuro wants the hand skin as well. This is the question. Poison touch on cooldown for 10 seconds. This is a very fast Magnosaurus. He should be fine.
Yeah, that as 2-for-1 trades go, I think that's probably not horribly bad for Liquid, because look at it, it gets the gyro after to level 6. He's now even in XP with the Monkey King. Stopped from farming.
Not just that, as we just saw mid, it gave the opportunity for Miracle to take that tier 1 tower, which is so important.
That's the sort of missing variable in the equation, that you've now allowed that Terrorblade to take your ridiculously early on.
That's the thing. That's a deception, right? As we look at this, we see a gyro. We're like, he's got to be the key focus for this drop, but it is still the Terrorblade that it comes down to. He's still doing fine.
All right, Kuro down here may be going down under a lot of pressure.
He's pretty deep. He's just tanking it. He knows they're lurking around somewhere, and he doesn't want Matuma Man to be the one falling.
I'm gonna think at least Final Tribe about putting a little pressure on this bottom tower. The Arc Warden, you can't afford to fall behind in towers here, because the Arc Warden is getting so much space.
Speaking of the Arc Warden, it looks like he's going to Necronom. Don't get confused, folks. He hasn't forgotten that Aquila doesn't exist anymore. All right, that's not what this is. I know what you're all thinking. All right, you can get Ring of Protectors from the side store. Surely he's going to double Aquila.
Yeah, and again, this is it's telling, right? He's respecting the potential tempo coming out from the look. Doesn't feel like he can go. The tower, the tier 1, his tier 1 tower falling so quick, it probably plays a...
You know, I've actually got a new theory on why Aquila was taken out of the game. Right? It's like they already started, they could have nerfed them more. But what it really was is Ice Frog heard the casters. He was like, some of them call it Aquila and some of them call it Aquila. And none of them seem to realize it's Akala. All right? And that's what it was. He was just frustrated at us for pronouncing it wrong.
So what did Iron Talon do wrong? I didn't hear anybody saying Iron Talon.
It's meant to be Iron Talon.
Here's
Iron
gonna fall down here. Another nice setup behind a call.
They'll get another one actually.
In a very similar area of the map. They're gonna get 2 kills for this.
Balance Strike slows it down, but Tim Man goes abort straight away. But Kuroki, he can't get out quick enough. He's going to turn around for the brain sap opportunity, but he's out of range.
I can't argue that. That's respecting the shrine is what that is right there, because I think in most other areas of the map, Liquid would have been confident enough to try for that. But Matumaman, because he knows he's directly downhill from that shrine, there could be 2 or 3 more heroes coming to join the fight. He TP's out fairly quickly, which is what to the extra support.
Monkey King just trying to roam around the map looking for a pickoff opportunity. Meanwhile, the pickoff will happen top. Axe been found. Epicenter goes off in time. He can't even activate the call.
Yeah, and Liquid getting there, you know, we expressed the concern that the 3 and 4 position players were going to have a hard time both getting resources, but they're doing that by setting up kills.
Indeed, GH up to level 4, 2 points in the Empower, and you can already see the effect on the Terrorblade, who with that Empower and the Metamorphosis is hitting for 275 damage. Well, I said those things, I forgot to mention, folks. The Wraith bands are important. Only 3 this time. Is going for the Dragonlance next.
Look at now Liquid having vision up the enemy side. They understand that if they can limit the space that Arc Warden has arm, they're just not going to be able to get online in this game. Terrorblade's already doing what you need.
Yeah,
with the 3 Wraith bands.
I mean, that's kind of the key thing to look at here is the battle between the Monkey King and the TB to who can take control of the game. Because TBs, when you see them ahead of everyone in net worth, I mean, in fairness, he did get nerfed, a load of changes with the latest patch, but historically, whenever we see a TB ahead in terms of net worth, it doesn't end well for the opponents.
Well, and it's also just about, like, where is the Terrorblade able to play? We made this point in the last game, right? Like, if the Terrorblade is able to play on the enemy side of the map and just hit towers, he feels like he's doing his job even without all these items. When he's forced into skirmishes, that's when he needs the items.
Absolutely. And he's going for that Manta next, which is fair game. It's almost always a good choice in Terrorblade. Actually, I'd say always. I don't think there's been a single game I've ever looked at and gone, Manta was a dumb choice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I even though, you know, it's not Manta is an individual item. I started having a problem with Manta when it's like these ridiculous Manta Lincoln's build on Bushi's, but Manta by itself, usually a solid choice.
Especially the way you can use it. Of course, it does have... Oh, I think the other difference with putting on a Medusa, of course, is range versus melee on cooldown. It's something a lot of people always forget about. But looking at this so far, Sand King, he's got a long way to go before he has that Blink Dagger. But as we said, the pressure, it kind of feels like it's on TFT because, as we said, Terrorblade is eventually going to get there. So when I look at TFT, I'm looking at the blink timer for the Axe, and he's still got just as long to go as the Sand King does.
Yeah, and again, it's just, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I'm always thinking about a little portion. Dire has their 3 towers left, and Radiance lost their top 2 tier.
And Dire might have a kill. Johansen fan getting low. The cooldown hole in place with the epicenter. They're going to turn around though. The Wukong goes down. Boundless Strike doesn't touch on the mind control. Nightmare connects on the Dazzle though. And they'll turn that into a kill pretty easily. There it is. Burrow Strike through. They'll clean him up. They actually do lose Sand King though. That was a slight mishap.
No, it ends up being a pretty nice trade from the side of TFT, and I thought that the axe was a little bit low, and so Chessie had to throw out his Wukong stand maybe a little earlier, a little farther back than he wanted to. If that Wukong
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They might have had kill threat on the gyro, but you know that fight ended up working out, and I think that's something they got to be really happy about.
Oh, when I say mishap, I'm talking about the Sand King deciding to throw his life into a Wukong.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, that's it. Yes. Mind control, you're a little bit, well, I mean, that's the thing. It's mind control's used to being a little bit more farmed at this part of the game. That early start, he's caught up nicely, and he's at a level of farm that most offlaners would be perfectly happy with at 13 minutes. But when you're mind control and you're just used to getting everything you want in the early game.
Way to make him sound like the sport kid.
Bad dude's top tower gonna fall.
Oh, Kuroki. Nightmare's gonna come out, but guess what? Chessie came to party. Cooldown be thrown down, but Timberman knows it really won't have too much of an impact here. Jansen fan will at least be forced to TP. Oh no, Skewer! GH with the blink here, perfectly placed to make sure this happens now. Jansen fan being pulled left, right, and center as they run down a secondary kill into Hanskin as well. Courtesy of this terrible.
Yeah, it's a good read. I mean, Liquid knows, again, the area of the map that Final Tribe need to contest, and that's a good read of Miracle already beat.
There is another problem to consider here, which is as we get one of them there. Miracle's been pretty on point with mirroring a lot of what Frost is trying to do, which means whenever he turns up, he usually gets at least one of these Necronomicon creeps.
Yeah, he's getting the Necronomicon creeps, and because Frost felt the pressure to go to Necro first, he does not have that Midas up, and he's still a little ways away from it. He's going to have it by 15 minutes. It's not a bad part-time, but his farm is not going to accelerate like an Artesia would be right now.
I'm watching the Axe and the Sand King again, very close still in terms of gold, getting very close to those Blink Daggers. And the big impact is out for both teams. Of course, the difference is that you've already got that Blink Dagger on Magnus on the side of Liquids. There's always this looming threat of RP.
Are they going to try this smoke play here coming out on the side of Final Tribe? They're setting up in the pit. This is very, very risky, but I don't know that Liquid are going to know that this is going on.
Oh, that's right. They're going to go for it. Magnetic Field plus the Necronomicon creeps enable it to be pretty quick.
They might have this Roshan, and this is massive.
Especially considering just the balls on these guys to sneak in there. It's Team Liquid with tier 1 standing. Like, this is a team that would usually read this pretty quickly, but you don't expect this. Not
at this point, the alarm bells are going off in Liquid's heads, but
you assume it's over.
Yeah, unreal. Great read here.
Yep, they'll pick it up. There we go. Aegis, they can give it a Frost.
You know, this is the kind of play that I think as TFT that I think you have to try when you're playing against the Liquid. Okay, yeah, you know, it can go spectacularly wrong. You are playing against reverse polarity, epicenter, call down, etc. in the Roche pit, but you have to take a chance here and there. And like you said, this is the vehicle that's going to enable them to equalize the map situation.
I think the other interesting thing to look at here is when you think about what they've done here, is the draft. They've got 2 hard hitters. They've got the Monkey Arc Warden. But because they've got Dazzle on the lineup as well, just securing that Roche gets you so much value. Because when you're in a fight, who the hell does Liquid target? They have to get a great AoE stun.
Well, it just gives Arc Warden that couple minutes of just finish Midas to know that he's going to map. He's going to be pressuring objective, getting farm, and be able to get a little bit of a trade. Again, is what we saw happening in the last game. That Liquid, because these outer towers are now just so fragile, relatively speaking. they're going to be that tier 2 bottom as a trade, but again, as the final tribe, you are more than happy with that, especially if you can complete the job here on this tier 2 top.
Doesn't look like they'll be able to.
Have to imagine Liquid's going to come in to defend.
They have. They've smoked up, and they actually TH on the tower, so they'll know the smoke is going on. But that's kind of how Liquid want to play. So when you TP someone in there, and it's obvious that they're smoked, it's just you're trying to force them off tower. And farm some nice little Necronomicons on the way out as well.
And that's fine, but again, the tower being down to 25-30% is very, very significant here, because as Liquid, you have to actively defend that part.
Absolutely, and
oh boy, mind control needs to be a little bit careful.
He's super deep. Balance strike. There's the call coming through. They'll leap in, and they'll finish him off. That was.
Need the dunk.
I mean, this is what you're talking about. This is the signs of a man who's used to getting what he wants, being denied at every turn by the side of TFT. Found the weak point, and they're going to keep pressing on it. How often do you say mind control is a weak point?
I mean, and you look right. This is, I believe, what you're talking about. The Terrorblade is off to this big net worth advantage. He's farmed, man. I mean, he's got his butterfly. He's feeling very powerful. But we're now at the point where TFT is. They're going to get online, and they're going to be able to bring sustained objective pressure onto that side of the map. This Terrorblade is not just going to run roughshod and kill all your towers.
Yeah, he always has to be eyes open to what's happening with this, especially with Dark Warden, who he's not going for boosted travel anytime soon. He's going for the Maelstrom next, but if he just dips down into the boosted travel, suddenly you're always looking back at your base, because an Arc Warden, even at this stage, does a lot of damage to your buildings.
It cannot be said enough that the strength of Liquid is so much in their farm distribution that they're able to keep 4 heroes up in farm. And in this game, despite the fact that, you know, Miracle and Matumbaman are off to the farm advantage, they lead the map. This is not the kind of farm numbers we're used to seeing from GH and Mind Control.
Yeah.
Like, we're used to seeing them like almost even with the enemy cores.
But this could change now. They could actually get a big influx of gold if they find a good smoked up, and this would be the BKB gyrocopter.
Yeah.
And they find error.
It's a little bit unfortunate that, yeah, their target of opportunity is going to be the Coddle here.
They can turn it into a tower push, though. They got the Metamorphosis.
Yeah, they're going to turn it into the tier 1 mid, and that's gonna offset a lot of the map pressure. Oh, okay, maybe they're...
Yeah, Matumbaman wanted to find more. It's been a little bit greedy. They should really go back, clean it up before the pressure starts to top.
I like getting the 2 wards down, though. This is they're going to basically, I think they're going to try and set up get 2 lanes for 1.
They could possibly. I mean, yeah.
No, that top lane is the top lane is too far gone. The lane equilibrium, right? That's the result of losing your own tier 2 tower.
Yeah, so you just take the tier 2, then you put like 1 or 2 people at the tower top, and then you push out and maybe kind of enclose. Or maybe this instead. Chessie's pretty deep. Skewer. Oh no, he got the tree! He got the right one! Monkey King! And the Enfeeble just stun locks him in. He's dead.
Yeah, you have to be able... I mean, there's really only one tree to shoot. Oh boy.
Perfectly done by GH. It looked like he was actually going to skewer the wrong way, but he knew exactly where his target of opportunity was.
You're GH. You don't skewer them. That doesn't happen.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Courier? Oh, that was a Maelstrom.
Ooh, hello.
Miracle.
Hello.
And he found Frost as well. That's not only going to be the Aegis. He can get a second.
Oh my disaster.
GH is here as well. He can go for the RP play if need be.
You have to be careful even contesting this.
Yeah, they actually have to let him die. Frost can get out the skewer. He found him as well. Error. Oh, 1 hit. Shockwave fit. GH. Hey. And it's a DD still a miracle. He can get some damage.
Blade's damage. This tier 3 is...
Call me Mr. Backdoor.
Okay, thankfully the DD expired, so they're not going to just get 3 hour.
Either.
Oh,
look,
come on.
Look at his... The creep wave is not even here yet. Of course, that tickles your boy. Oh, a minute. RP's going to be there. Kenzie got found again. He BKB'd up, but their damage is so much. The Fiend Grip just did a...
Oh my god, he's gone again. Slipped out of control for equivalent.
And he has no buyback, and they've got 2 lanes exposed. They can go straight mid if they want to. They've still got the epicenter. They actually don't have to back away. The BKB won't be available for Monkey King when he...
Oh, I thought Chessie getting his BKB off there right as the was used might end up working. But they had the Fiend's Grip in position. Miracle was in position with the meta still up. Man, and power on. That's just... the turn of events here for Final Tribe in the last 2 minutes is just really unfortunate. Because I like they get to play. I felt like they were going to get to play their draft, that their Arc Warden was going to get online, and we were going to at least see what this lineup is capable of. But the death in the Dire Jungle by Chessie, you get Frost picked off in the bottom lane off a good rotation. All of a sudden, you're down a lane of Rax. You're on your heels in this game.
And I think the thing to highlight well is at this level play, there's no so he could dodge out the RP with the mischief. But I think the thing that really distracted him was that move, right? The way they dragged them across. I don't think he was prepped for an RP. He wasn't maybe looking at his own camera.
Yeah,
Hero with his camera.
I agree, and that you know, base defenses, because there's a lot that you're trying to check on.
As a result, the net worth lead is building. The difference between the ones at the top increasing is terribly. Look at this man, Miracle. He's hungry for gold and he's going to be hungry for a base. And actually, yeah, he's got enough for the Skadi if you want to say. He's got enough.
Yeah, he's getting so. Oh, come on, you know, OS Frog. Now he's getting so far ahead at this point that the fact that his King and Magnus aren't really even that. They're like even back, so. This is Liquid Dota, man. This is how they like it.
There was a little bit of fight at the start of the first game, and even at the start of the game, the way Liquid is transitioning between those lanes and the mid game is on a level.
Yeah, I just, again, you expect a veteran team to look onto a new patch quickly, but they're not afraid to take these trades. They're just making sure that TFT's got a scary push, but as long as we're getting some towers in exchange and it's fine.
Oh, and they sent out it. Actually still gonna be able to initiate for his team. He's controlled up. Number Timberman, the BKB comes out and your hands are fans. Now the Wukongs goes down, but Chessie, doesn't matter how much you hits too hard. This could easily.
Yeah,
they're gonna go in. Oh, the RP, the bar! Give them all back! Terrible consequences for TFT as
Liquid's gonna do this to a lot of teams, okay? Said in game one, we were talking about this, but I thought Final Trap in game one looked like they could Liquid. It was just a sequence of praise that went against them, and